You've seen the headlines, you've heard the hype. Turmeric, the golden spice of healing. But deep down, a quiet question lingers. Is it actually working, or just passing through? Every morning, you take that little yellow capsule with hope. Hope that the swelling in your knees might ease, that the fog in your mind might lift, that your body might feel a little more like home again. But the truth is, healing doesn't always come with a drum roll. Sometimes, it comes in whispers. What if your body is already giving you subtle signs? Little clues that turmeric is helping, you just haven't noticed them yet. A calmer stomach, a deeper sleep, a day with less pain than the one before. This story isn't about miracles. It's about moments. The kind you can feel when you slow down, breathe, and listen. So if you've ever wondered whether your turmeric is truly making a difference, you're in the right place. In today's story, we'll explore 7 quiet signs your body might be whispering, "Thank you." And if even one of these signs feels familiar to you, comment the number 1 below. Let's see how many of us are on this quiet journey together. 1. You sleep deeper, wake lighter. Maybe you haven't noticed during the day, but at night, your body tells a different story. Susan, a retired elementary school teacher from Madison, Wisconsin, never thought a spice could make any real difference. For years, sleep came hard. She'd lie awake, watching the shadows shift across the ceiling, her mind looping through worry, her body stiff and restless. But a few weeks after starting turmeric, something changed. Not suddenly, but gently. One morning, she realized she hadn't gotten up 3 times in the night. She had slept through. And what's more, she woke up without that usual cloud hanging over her. Turmeric's anti-inflammatory properties don't just ease physical pain. They also help regulate stress hormones like cortisol, which can interfere with deep sleep. When inflammation goes down and the nervous system settles, your body feels safe enough to rest. Not just close your eyes, but truly, deeply rest. This isn't a sleeping pill kind of knockout. This is natural, subtle. A quiet shift where you fall asleep faster, stay asleep longer, and wake up without dragging your feet through the fog. Of course, sleep is influenced by many things: what you eat, how active you are, even the temperature of the room. But when turmeric is absorbed well, it becomes part of the body's gentle repair system. Night after night, it restores, rebuilds, renews. And unlike stimulants or short-term sleep aids, the calm it brings isn't forced, it's earned, from the inside out. Susan wasn't trying to fix her sleep. She just wanted to move without aching. But that unexpected gift, a good night's rest, reminded her what real rest feels like. "I woke up," she said, "and I felt like myself again. Not young, just whole." If you've noticed your nights getting softer, your mornings a bit more forgiving, that could be your first clue. Healing doesn't always announce itself with a bang. Sometimes it starts with a sigh. And if that sounds like you, even just a little bit, comment the number 2 below. Let's see how many of us have rediscovered sleep we thought was long gone. 2. Your mind feels clearer, your mood lighter. The body often heals in silence, but the mind? It speaks in subtle shifts. Maybe your thoughts don't stumble as much. Maybe your patience lasts a little longer than it used to. These aren't grand changes, but they matter deeply. They show up when you're remembering the name of that neighbor down the road, or when you laugh at something on TV and realize it's been a while since you truly felt the joy behind the sound. After decades of working in the post office in Charleston, South Carolina, Raymond knew the weight of mental fatigue. Retirement brought slower days, but also strange, foggy ones. days where he couldn't quite focus, couldn't find the motivation to finish even the smallest tasks. He chalked it up to age. But after taking turmeric for his joints, something else began to shift. He described it as clearing the windshield after a rain. His mind wasn't racing, but it also wasn't stuck. He felt steady, more grounded. He started reading again, even picked up his old guitar. What many don't realize is that turmeric's effect on the brain is well documented. Curcumin, its active compound, has been shown to cross the blood-brain barrier and reduce inflammation in neural pathways, an underlying factor in mood disorders and memory decline. When the brain isn't inflamed, it's freer to think, process, and feel. And for many older adults, that feeling of being off or not quite yourself isn't always something you can explain. It's emotional weight, mental static. Turmeric won't erase stress or sadness, but it can help clear the path so you can navigate them with more ease. For Raymond, the biggest sign wasn't what he gained, it was what he no longer carried. "I didn't feel heavy up here," he said, tapping his temple. "The world didn't seem as gray." This kind of clarity is subtle. You don't always notice it happening, but one day you're quicker to smile, faster to respond, more engaged in your own life. That's not nothing. That's healing, too. So if lately you've caught yourself humming while doing the dishes, or finding comfort in memories instead of being overwhelmed by them, you may already be feeling turmeric's touch, where it matters most. And if that's something you've noticed, no matter how small, comment the number 3 below, because someone else might be feeling the same shift and not know they're not alone. 3. You don't get sick as often. It's not just about what hurts, it's about what doesn't happen anymore. Illness used to feel like a regular visitor in Harold's life. A scratchy throat here, a nagging cough there. Winter especially brought weeks of tissues, soup, and canceled plans. But last December, something unusual happened. The flu swept through his senior community in Tempe, Arizona, and Harold didn't catch it. Not even a sniffle. At first, he thought he'd just gotten lucky. But then he realized it had been months since his last cold, even though he was still visiting the same coffee shop, still seeing the grandkids. That's when his daughter reminded him. He'd started taking turmeric 6 months earlier. What many people overlook is turmeric's powerful support for the immune system. Curcumin is a natural antioxidant. It helps reduce oxidative stress and supports immune cells in doing their job more efficiently. It doesn't boost your immune system in an artificial way. It strengthens its rhythm, and that matters, especially as we age. You might not notice the colds that don't come, the fevers that never show up, but those quiet absences are victories too. They're signs your body is defending you quietly, steadily, without fanfare. Harold didn't feel stronger overnight, but he did notice something else. He wasn't living in fear of the next illness anymore. He had more freedom. He planned a road trip to Colorado. He even started walking in the mornings without worrying about catching a chill. When your immune system is quietly working in the background, it gives you the space to live your life, to say yes to things, to show up, to breathe easier, not just through your nose, but through your days. For older adults, staying well isn't just about avoiding discomfort, it's about protecting independence. One illness can become a chain reaction of setbacks. That's why these subtle signs matter. That's why turmeric's support, though often unseen, can be one of the most meaningful benefits of all. If you've noticed fewer sick days, more energy through the seasons, or even just a stronger sense of resilience in your body, it may not be a coincidence. It may be your immune system saying, "Thank you for the support." And if that feels familiar, If you've gone a little longer than usual without reaching for the cough syrup, comment the number 4 below. Because someone else out there might be realizing they've quietly stayed well, just like you. 4. Your digestion feels calmer. Sometimes relief doesn't show up as excitement. It shows up as nothing. No tightness, no sudden urgency, no uncomfortable bloating that keeps you from finishing your meal. Just calm. Margie, 72, from rural Vermont, never gave much thought to her digestion. It was simply something to deal with, until it started dealing back. After nearly every meal, she'd feel heavy, swollen, and uncomfortable. She tried cutting out different foods, sipping ginger tea, even skipping dinner altogether. Nothing truly helped. Then one day, a friend from her quilting circle mentioned turmeric, not for digestion, but for inflammation. Margie figured it couldn't hurt. A month later, something surprising happened. She wasn't reaching for the antacids anymore. She could enjoy her homemade stew and cornbread without feeling like she had to lie down afterward. That's the thing with turmeric. It doesn't just fight pain, it supports the body's entire inflammatory response, including in the gut. By stimulating bile production and easing digestive strain, turmeric helps food move more smoothly through the system. The result? Less bloating, less discomfort, a sense of ease where there used to be tension. And here's the key. It doesn't feel like a dramatic shift. It feels like quiet, normalcy returning, a softness in the belly that lets you sit, breathe, and enjoy your evening in peace. For Margie, the difference wasn't immediate, but it was real. One day, she caught herself humming while washing dishes after dinner, something she hadn't done in months. "I wasn't thinking about my stomach," she said. "I was just being." Our gut has a voice too, and when it's at ease, we are too. Turmeric won't erase every issue, and it's not a cure-all, but for many, it becomes a quiet partner in restoring digestive comfort. A small addition that brings big relief, not through force, but through gentle support. So if you've recently noticed you're more comfortable after meals, that your body isn't battling your food the way it used to, it might be more than just good luck. Go ahead and type 5 in the comments if your gut's been a little kinder lately. We'd love to know, because your small shift might give someone else hope that theirs is coming too. 5. The pain is quieter. Now, it doesn't leave all at once. Pain is stubborn like that. But if you listen closely, there are days when it whispers instead of shouts. Take Gloria, age 74, from Kansas City. Her mornings used to begin with a ritual, sitting at the edge of the bed, bracing herself before standing. Ankles stiff, knees hot, fingers slow to uncurl. "I'd talk to my joints like they were old friends," she laughed once, "and not the kind you want to see before coffee." She started turmeric on the advice of her son-in-law, a physical therapist. Honestly, she didn't expect much. But 3 weeks in, something shifted. She realized she was standing up faster, getting out of her recliner without groaning, reaching the top of the stairs without stopping halfway. It wasn't dramatic, but it was noticeable. Turmeric works slowly, quietly, by calming inflammation deep in the tissues. That's what chronic pain often is. Inflammation that won't quit. And when curcumin starts to ease that fire, mobility returns in small, miraculous ways. What Gloria noticed wasn't just a change in how she moved. It was a change in how she felt about moving. She wanted to go outside. She chose to take the long way around the grocery store. She felt a little more in control again. For many older adults, pain becomes a background noise of life. Not loud enough to scream, but always there. It shapes your choices. It narrows your world. And that's what makes its absence, even a partial absence, so powerful. Turmeric doesn't numb the body, it supports it. It gives your joints a chance to breathe. It offers your muscles a moment of calm. And over time, those moments stack up. A walk becomes a joy again. A stretch becomes possible. Life becomes bigger, more open. One morning, Gloria reached for her teacup with the same hand that once needed support. And she smiled. "It's not gone," she said, "but it's softer now." And that's enough. If your pain has softened, just a little, or your movement feels more fluid than it used to, don't brush it off. That's your body thanking you. Share your experience by commenting 6 below. If you've felt even a flicker of ease return to your day, your voice might remind someone else that relief is possible. 6. Your skin looks brighter. It often catches you off guard. You glance in the mirror one morning, expecting the usual. Tired eyes, dull cheeks, that worn-down look life sometimes leaves behind. But instead, there's something different, something softer. A faint glow, a kind of quiet radiance that doesn't scream young, but whispers well. That's what happened to Lorraine, 76, living on the edge of Asheville, North Carolina. Her days were filled with tending to her garden, sipping tea on the porch, and helping raise her granddaughter. She wasn't chasing beauty anymore. She'd made peace with the lines, the sunspots, the proof of decades well lived. But then, one morning, her daughter leaned in and said, "Mom, your skin looks beautiful." Lorraine laughed, assuming it was just kindness. But when she looked closely, she saw it too. Her skin didn't look younger. It looked healthier. Turmeric's antioxidant properties don't just work deep in the body. They show up on the surface. When internal inflammation drops and oxidative stress decreases, the skin responds. It becomes calmer, less reactive. That dry, irritated look begins to ease. Blood flow improves. And slowly, your skin starts to reflect the quiet balance happening within. Lorraine hadn't changed her face cream or started any new beauty routine. The only difference was the turmeric capsule she began taking for her arthritis. "I never expected it to change how I looked," she said. "But I see it now. Less puffiness, less redness. I look more alive." The skin tells stories we don't always hear. It mirrors what's going on beneath the surface. So when it shifts, even subtly, it's often a sign of deeper harmony, a sign that the body is no longer fighting as hard, and healing is taking hold. And no, this isn't about vanity. It's about vitality. It's about feeling like your outside reflects how you're trying to live on the inside, calm, cared for, and clear. If someone's recently said you look rested, or if you've caught yourself smiling at your reflection without even realizing it, it might not be your moisturizer. It might be a deeper kind of wellness taking shape. If that rings true for you, drop a 7 in the comments below. Your small change might be the exact encouragement someone else needs to believe that healing doesn't just feel better. It can look like light returning to your face. 7. You feel more like you again. There's no lab test for this, no number to measure it, but you know it when it happens, because you finally feel like yourself again. Somewhere along the way, between the aches, the fatigue, the changes that crept in over the years, you started to feel like a different version of who you used to be. And not in the good way, just dimmed, faded at the edges. That's how Arthur felt. He's 81 now, living in a quiet part of northern Idaho, where the winters are long and the days even longer. After his wife passed, he lost more than his best friend. He lost his rhythm. He stopped cooking. stopped playing piano, stopped caring. "I didn't feel sick," he said. "I just didn't feel there." It was Arthur's neighbor who gave him the turmeric. He called it his joint juice. Arthur took it just to be polite. But weeks later, something shifted. It wasn't a burst of energy or some miracle turnaround. It was subtle. He found himself humming again while making coffee, pulling out the crossword without being asked, waving to people on his afternoon walk. Little things, beautiful things. That's what this final sign is all about. Not a symptom, but a sensation. A return. You laugh at your own jokes again. You call your sister back instead of letting it ring. You put on your favorite sweater, not because you have to go anywhere, but because you want to feel good in your own skin. Turmeric didn't change Arthur's life overnight. It didn't erase the grief or turn back the clock, but it gave him back to himself, just enough that he could begin showing up in his own story again. Healing isn't always physical. Sometimes it's the quiet reawakening of the spirit. The moment your mind and body stop feeling like enemies. The moment you recognize yourself again in the mirror, not because of how you look, but because of how you feel when you see your own eyes. If turmeric has helped you reconnect with joy, or even just brought you a step closer to your old rhythm, that's not small. That's sacred. If that feels familiar, let us know by typing 8 in the comments. Even a flicker of you returning is a powerful thing, and sharing it might be exactly what someone else needs to feel less alone on their journey. Turmeric may be a simple spice, but when it works, its impact is anything but small. You won't always see the change in bold letters. There won't be fireworks or dramatic turning points. But in the stillness of everyday life, something begins to shift. You sleep more deeply. You move with less hesitation. You laugh, hum, call an old friend back. You catch a glimpse of yourself, the real you. And for a moment, everything feels just a little lighter. That's the truth we've come to understand. Healing doesn't always announce itself. It doesn't need to. Sometimes it arrives in whispers, in small comforts, in quiet returns to who you are and how you want to feel. If any of these signs resonated with you, even just one, it's worth paying attention. Your body may already be telling you, yes, this is working. Keep going. So take your turmeric, but watch gently, feel closely, because your body always tells the truth. And if you found this story helpful, comforting, or just worth passing along, please like this video, share it with someone you care about, and subscribe to the channel for more thoughtful stories about living well, aging with grace, and finding beauty in the small things. Until next time,